Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ontario Cryptids. Today marks episode 205, and every fifth episode I like to cover some clips that you may not have seen before and tell one encounter story. Today I'm going to share a Reddit user called obigrumpiknobi who shares his experience in Kansas while visiting his cousin. But first, let's start off with some clips. If you have an encounter story that you would like to share, then please forward your stories to OntarioCryptids@gmail.com. I would be honored to share your story with like-minded people. Now sit back and relax as we begin with today's episode. This first clip comes from MUFON file 112913. The location is the Andes Mountains in Santiago, Chile. And the date of this clip is November 11th, 2020. This is taken from a commercial airline. And not sure what to make of this, but what do you think this is? Some were suggesting that this was a cloud. I don't know, but give me your thoughts as to what you think this is in the comments below. This next one comes from Korobi, Toyama, Japan, and it was posted in January. The credit goes to Ovinus versus UFOs 2. Now, this is a little unusual. Is this just a cloud with the light reflecting on it unusual? I'm not sure. There's no other clouds in the sky except for this strange formation, which seems to be illuminated. Give me your thoughts on what you think this is. A group of teenagers were at a music festival called Lost Lands. Credit goes to Vada Josetta, and they observe these two lights in the sky when all of a sudden the third light appears. Now, there does seem to be some lightning happening in the background, so it can be true that they say that UFOs charge themselves during lightning storms. Let's take a look at their reactions.
What was that? You guys. I got that.
This last clip was posted by Bigfoot Society, and it is titled ATV Hunter Spots Bigfoot. Let's take a look at this clip. What are your thoughts in this clip? Personally, I would have thought that the subject would have moved by now as the ATV is going past it. But what are your thoughts? This one was posted to Reddit by a user called obigrumpiknobi, and this took place 10 years ago. A little background info. I grew up in the mountains of Idaho. My family and I are outdoors people. We were raised to hunt, fish, and trap. You could say we were mountain folks, or some would call us hillbillies. We spent 90% of our lives outdoors. When you spend that much time in nature, it becomes part of you. In 2014, my wife and I went down to Kansas to visit her cousin on their family farm. I had just become a disabled veteran due to injuries received while in combat. We decided to take a lengthy vacation in our RV. We needed just to chill and decompress. Needless to say, that didn't go as planned. We get to the farm and park our RV, and we were excited to see our family and have a good visit. The first night I heard a bunch of owls chattering with each other, or what sounded like owls, but not quite right. Something was off. I didn't put much thought into it at first. As time went on, I noticed something wasn't right with the woods around here. The owl creatures, as I came to call them, were communicating with each other with intent, like they were relaying information up and down the creek and woods. After a decade in the army as a grunt, I got to really enjoy being in nature at night. I would take walks with my dogs and smoke some cigarettes. It was my alone time, and always why I experienced so much of the strangeness. I keep seeing these glowing eyes in the woods along the creek. They were blue, red, yellow eyes. The blue eyes were taller, the red eyes were a bit shorter, and the yellow eye creatures were pretty small. The shapeshifter eyes glowed yellow. Now, I'm not talking about eyes shine like from a light source reflecting off their eyes like a deer. I'm talking full-on glowing like LED lights. I was curious and concerned. I asked my cousin if she had seen anything strange out in the woods. She said they didn't go out at night much, but their dogs had been wounded by something with really sharp claws recently. The dogs were terrified to go out at night. I started to spend more time out at night, paying close attention to what was happening around the area. I started to see flashes of light coming from different areas of the woods, like bright pulsating electrical flashes that lasted a few seconds. I noticed that when the creatures were near, the streetlight in the yard wouldn't cast all the way to the creek as it did when they weren't around. I started to walk the creek to see if I could find prints, and I did, human-like prints, barefoot, about a size 12. Some were smaller, like that of an 8 or 10-year-old's foot, barefoot as well. They were standing on the shoreline of the creek facing the house and our RV like they were watching us. So one night my cousin came home and she is scared. She saw a shadowy figure out in front of the barn, human-like but quite tall. My cousin's husband and I grabbed our shotguns and headed over to the barn. We got close and I said, "You go around the front and I'll go around the back and see if we can catch them." When I got to the back of the barn, a huge creature came running out. It looked like a half-man, half-horse creature. It cleared a 5-foot fence like it wasn't even there and ran into the woods. Yeah, we were in total disbelief. I asked, "What did you see?" He replied, "It was dark in there, but I thought I saw a shadow man turn into a horse." And things escalated quickly from there. We saw a lightning ball really close to us the next night, around 30 yards away. It sounded just like a high-powered electrical discharge. Thought we saw something run out of it as well. Wasn't sure because the light was so bright. These creatures started to really watch us a lot. I think they were surprised I noticed them to begin with. I started to carry a weapon all the time at night. One of the armadillo shapeshifters came at me one night, kind of aggressive-like, so I pulled out my pistol and shot it 6 to 7 times at point blank. It just shrugged it off and went back the other way towards the woods. It left behind little piles of dust instead of blood, and I thought maybe I missed it. but I'm very experienced with weapons, so I didn't believe I missed it with every shot. A couple of nights later, the incident with the shapeshifter happened. We heard some commotion outside. We grabbed our shotguns and headed out to see what's going on. It was the four of us. We were taking this shit seriously at this point. The shapeshifter walked out from under the car near my wife and she jumped back and said, "What the hell is that?" It looked like a black cat, sort of. Then we all watched it transform into a skunk-like creature. It headed into the woods nearby. We all looked at each other in total disbelief. A few seconds later, it came out of the woods, looking like an armadillo. Our cousin said, "Shoot that effing thing." So we shot it at the exact moment together. We didn't plan it, it just happened that way. We both had 3.5 turkey loads in our shotguns at the time. I think it's important to point out that we shot it at the same time, because I think that's why we were able to kill it. It turned to dust, just vaporized, no blood, no guts, no body parts, just a cloud of dust. At that exact moment, these other larger creatures screamed a primordial scream for the ages. It sounded like they felt it themselves, and all at the same time from different areas all around us. We were essentially surrounded. However, there is no way these other creatures could have seen us shoot the shapeshifter. They had to have felt it. Needless to say, we were in shock and fearful at the same time, so we ran into the house to get away. By the time we were close to the house, a bunch of owl creatures were up in a tree near the house, just freaking out on us, screaming at us. I looked into the tree and I could not see any of them. I could hear them and where the noise was coming from, but I couldn't see them. I believe they were invisible to our eyes. As time went on, strangeness kept occurring. The creature eventually killed my dog, I think in retaliation for killing one of them. I did see some of the blue-eyed shadow creatures a few times, once really close, like 20 feet away. It was about 6'6" tall humanoid shape. You could see through it though. It had blue glowing eyes. That's why I call them shadow creatures. I leveled my pistol at it and it turned to look at me. That's when I saw its eyes. I had no intentions of shooting it, but I wanted to be ready if it came at me. In hindsight, it was a very bad thing that we killed one of the shapeshifters. We could have left it alone, but we were scared and we didn't know what we were dealing with. Human are fear-based creatures. That's why we have survived this long. We kill anything we fear or do not understand. I think they were trying to communicate with us. They were definitely watching us, studying us. To me, they behaved like I would if I were operating in an enemy territory. It triggered my infantry combat experience. I felt threatened by their intrusive behavior, but I also didn't know or understand what we were dealing with. I think these are beings of nature, of Mother Earth, if you will. They have sway over the elements. I believe they have a hive mind or something like that, and I believe they are mostly in heavily wooded areas. Thank you for reading this post. I will try and answer any questions. And for all the disbelievers, you're not a believer until you're a believer. In other words, you may not believe until you have lived it. I hope you all enjoyed these clips today. I have to say a lot of them lately has been about UFOs. And what an incredible encounter from obigrumpiknobi. I would love to hear if your cousin is still dealing with the shadow creatures 10 years later. Now, I would like to take the time to thank the current OC members. If you want to learn more about the OC membership program, please head on over to the Communities tab on my channel to learn more. The current members are Jim, Teresa, Elizabeth, and Dale. Thank you so very much for all your support. If these stories reminded you of an encounter you may have had, then please forward them to OntarioCryptids@gmail.com. I would be honored to share your story with like-minded people. Thank you all for listening until the end. I truly appreciate it. Please hit the like button on your way out and smash the subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next week right here on Ontario Cryptids.